Thanks to Medina, Equal Space, Digital Undivided, all our hosts here. I'm thrilled to be part of this panel today, or this program today. I'm a little bit sandwiched between two great things, so I'm going to try and keep this on point and go quickly for you all, but certainly happy to follow up. A little bit tough to be between the free money and the panel of great thought leaders on diversity and innovation in the state, but hopefully some meaningful content for you all. So I'm going to run through some slides. Medina, I just need your help in pulling those up, please. That will talk about, as Tim said, some of the innovation economy programs that we already had in place at the EDA. Some have been bolstered in a very significant way under Governor Murphy, particularly around diversity and inclusion, and some new ones on the horizon as well. So you heard already about the Entrepreneur Support Program. That's one of our COVID-19 relief programs specifically targeted at the innovation economy. And really, when we are talking to entrepreneurs such as yourselves around the state, we're looking at how do we support companies through all stages of their life cycle. So getting started, getting established, and growing. Hopefully you all know the individuals that are quoted here on the first slide. Zara Ampur at Indie Grove has been a great partner to us, and as is many of the co-working spaces around the state. And when Governor Murphy launched his campaign, he was really adamant about the ability to bring folks together. Obviously, we're doing it virtually today, but we're figuring it out as great New Jerseyans do. And we really expect that there'll be some innovative ideas that come from, I'm hoping, the folks on this webinar today. If you look back in history, companies like Netflix started in recessions. So some great innovation around technology always comes out of difficult times like these. And we want to make sure that you know that we have support available to help companies as you advance along the life cycle of your business. Next slide, please, Medina, if you would. So really, first and foremost, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do, what idea, how you want to create and innovate, we have tremendous research universities in the state of New Jersey. And many folks may not know that we have a portal that helps you tap into and see what's going on within each of our universities. So you can see the 5 here that partner with us on research with New Jersey. If you haven't been on the portal, we encourage you to go on there. And what we often say to folks is there's lots of different ways to use this portal. If you are looking for talent, you can go in and see which universities have IP or have publications that are in a space that you're interested in. So if you are an ed tech company, you can go in, search ed tech, and see which professors at the universities are focusing on that. If you're looking for talent, you can certainly go into the portal. We've seen a lot of companies get interns out of this. They'll call a researcher, find out who's working in their lab, and then work together to bring that student into the business. So a terrific free resource. I encourage folks to look in there. We've also talked to folks that are in diligence. And I know we're going to hear from Joanne Lynn from Newark Venture Partners in a little bit. But this is a great diligence tool too. So if you're an entrepreneur that's thinking about buying a company, selling to a company, go in here and see who are the leading thought leaders in a particular space and reach out to them. There's a way to connect to them directly via email through this portal and tap into their expertise. Most of them are more than willing to help you. So a tremendous resource that we want to make sure that everybody on this call knows about. And what we find is folks didn't realize all that was here and available in the state. So a big part of not only this forum today to let you know about the new grant money that's available, but to let you know that we have ongoing resources available because we really want to see this community grow and thrive in New Jersey. Next slide, please. And you heard me mention a little bit about our work on co-working spaces. We do have a program that provides free rent with 21 partner sites around the state of New Jersey. So once we're back in the human interfacing world and not the digital world. We want to make sure that folks know there's a home for them that's supportive in New Jersey. So our partners on the phone today at Equal Space, all the way down to Asbury Park Coworks, are all innovators in providing a supportive ecosystem for entrepreneurs to grow their business in the state. And I would encourage you, if you're starting a business, even in this virtual world, to connect with many of the hosts of this site. As we see with Equal Space doing today, there is still a lot of information and support that's available through so many of these co-working spaces. And through our partnership with them, we've asked them all to provide a minimum level of at least 8 ecosystem building events a year. And so something like this would be akin to the ask that we have for these sites. So certainly encourage you to get involved with these sites. Even in today's environment, we have them all listed on our website and available for you as well. Next slide. And the next initiative I want to make sure that everybody knows about is our Technology Business Tax Certificate Transfer Program, which is a mouthful, even for me, who's been working on this program for a number of years. We like to call it the NOL Program. I also like to call it the Fairy Godmother Program, because I go into companies and I ask them if they're losing money, and they very sheepishly say, you know, yes, and kind of hang their head. And I'm like, no, that's great. We can help you. So this is a fairly unique program, we believe, in the country. If you are a New Jersey company, you have intellectual property, a filed patent, doesn't have to be issued, a copyright if you're a software company, and you meet certain employment thresholds, and they're very, very modest, 1, 5, or 10 employees based on how many years you've been in business. You can monetize your losses. And this really came out of a request from the innovation economy, the tech companies, the biotech companies in the state, to say, I don't have collateral for a loan. All I have is losses. What is that going to get me? Well, uniquely so in the state of New Jersey, that can get you cash. So the application deadline is June 30th every year. It continues to be June 30th this year, with a slight caveat that we're potentially may extend it to September 30th, but we're telling everybody to have their ducks aligned for June 30th if you do want to apply. You do have to have your taxes filed in the state by June 30th in order to apply, even though there's been an extension this year. And the way that it works is there's a $60 million pool. We check to make sure that you have the IP, that you have the employees, that you have independent accountant prepared financial statements. Compilation is perfectly fine. It doesn't need to be a full-blown audit. And there's a few other criteria that we're happy to run through with you. We approve you, and then you work with a company that wants to buy your losses. They're bought for, on average, 92 cents on the dollar. The average award per company is over $1 million. You see $1.1 million here. You don't have to give up anything. You don't have to give up any equity. You don't have to give up any ownership in your business. So if you already have outside investors, it helps let them keep their ownership position. If you're a founder, and I hear this quite often, that says, I don't want to give up any equity at all, this is a great program for you. There is no dilution at all. It has been a stronghold for so many New Jersey companies. Some of our great biotech companies have used it to succeed. Many of our small tech companies as well. In addition to selling your net operating losses in the state, you can also sell your R&D tax credits dollar for dollar. So I encourage you, and I know folks are going to get the slide after this. We're happy to walk through it with anybody. And we'll have information on our website as well. Medina, next slide, please. And so here you see just a few quotes from folks that we've worked with in the industry, particularly on this NOL program. Companies come back year after year. You're allowed to get up to a $15 million benefit. We encourage companies, if they have a few years, you can lump them all together. So if you've been up and running and building your business for the last 3 years but haven't participated, it doesn't deny you for participating now and selling those prior 3 years of losses. So again, just some testimonials from folks in the state. Everywhere we go on national platforms, people ask us about this program. When Tim Sullivan joined us at the EDA, he said that was the one program that he knew everything about, that folks had said, yep, you know, that's the program that New Jersey is well known for. So we're happy to share this information with you all. Next slide, if you would, Medina, please. We also, for folks that don't know, have invested in real estate support for the emerging life science companies. So we know life science is a really expensive proposition. We know now more than ever in the middle of a pandemic that investment in life science is extremely important, and New Jersey is well known for it. And so for this industry that puts, you know, hundreds of $millions into drug discovery, they also need real estate and specialized lab equipment. So because of that, the EDA owns a property in North Brunswick, really in the heart of biotech and pharma in the state, a 50-acre campus that has everything from small little startup labs to public companies on our campus. You can see kind of BC1 on the deck in front of you is a public company. Our incubator there is highlighted in green, and then we also have post-incubation space as well. So for any of the life science entrepreneurs who might be on the phone, we'd love to talk to you. Our incubator right now is at 100% occupancy, which to me is just crazy. We usually average around 90%. We're seeing a lot of influx of startups out of universities, both New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey universities. We're seeing folks come across the river from New York into Pennsylvania or into New Jersey. And I think it just shows, you know, that science is really important and getting a lot of attention as a result of the current crisis that we're in. Next slide. And I mentioned to you kind of that stage of life cycle where we help companies. What you heard me talk about was 1, find your idea, 2, find your home, and 3, what we always hear is find the money. And so, you know, in a regular kind of calmer time of our economy, we're not always giving out grant dollars. But what we know is that as part of the innovation economy, third-party investors are really important, not only for the dollars that investors bring to the table, but for their expertise, be it having been in the industry before or the connections that they might have. So twice a year, we run an event where we actually provide matchmaking and introduce entrepreneurs one-on-one to investors. You get kind of 6 to 10 meetings on average, one-on-one meetings with investors, and sometimes it's coaching, sometimes it's, did you know you had a company that was competing in this business? You know, but we've heard time and time again from both sides, from both the entrepreneurs and the investors, that this is just invaluable, that, you know, it's a hard effort to find investors in your business and to be able to access that many people in such a short window. And EDA does the cultivating of making the matches. And about 10% of the companies that have participated in this have gone on to successfully raise capital. So we're really excited about that. Stay tuned for a virtual event later this year. We'll announce something hopefully soon, but we're going to continue to make those matches, as we know they're really important. And the other thing I think is important here is the EDA works really closely with these investors. So you will learn in the next couple slides about the engagement that we have with the investor community, and that is really focused on getting the capital out to the entrepreneurial and innovation community. Next slide. So if we help you find a technology, if we help you find a home, and we help you find an investor, we want to seal the deal for you. And one of the ways that we do that, hopefully, is incentivizing the investors to invest their capital into New Jersey businesses. So New Jersey has one of the most advanced angel investor tax credits, we believe, in the country, with a new enhancement that was just signed into law late last year, went into effect January of 2020 by Governor Murphy. And we now will provide a 20% investor tax credit to anyone who invests in a qualified New Jersey company. So those companies have to be in the technology or life science field, and they have to have 75% of their employees in New Jersey at the time of investment. What's really interesting and we think quite unique about the investor tax credit we have in the state of New Jersey is as we look to build a more inclusive economy in the state, there is a 5% bonus to any investor. So it brings the investor tax credit from 20 to 25% if you invest in a woman or minority certified business in the state. So as I'm sure every entrepreneur on this phone knows, it's a risky business to invest in startups. We want to help de-risk that investment. And for investors who are on the fence, we want to help pull them across into the New Jersey playing ground and make sure that they make this investment. So when we talk to the numbers people, it's about their return on investment and de-risking their investment. And this is a great tool for that. It is really hard and it has to be really patient capital for someone to give you an investment, and to be able to tell them that you can get them 20 or 25% of their money back in a 6-month time frame is unheard of. The other really interesting thing that I'll mention about this that often flies under the radar is for founders who invest in their own company. If you own less than 80% of the company at the time of investment, so you've gotten some friends and family money perhaps in your company, and you are going and providing capital into your own business, you can take advantage of this. I can't tell you how many times I hear a sigh of relief from entrepreneurs who are saying, but I've been putting money in and I can now get some of it back. So it's a great program. It also works for out-of-state and out-of-country investors. So particularly in the life science field, we see a lot of investors from overseas. And, you know, we're happy to welcome investors from New York and Boston and California. First time I worked with an investor on this, they were shocked when the state of New Jersey sent them a check for, at that time it was 10% of their investment back. They took that check, endorsed it, and put the money right back into the company, which is really a win-win for all of us. So for any of you entrepreneurs that are out there raising capital, we want to make sure that you're using this as a tool to help sell your business and the investment opportunity. We want to make sure that founders are aware of it and can take advantage of it. And then we certainly want to make sure that it drives more investment into the state of New Jersey. Next slide, if we could, please. I think this one I already went through a little bit on our tax certificate transfer program, so we might be out of order a little bit. Can we go to the next slide, Medina? Okay, great, terrific, thank you. And so again, in the interest of time, because I know I'm followed by this incredible panel of leaders and thought leaders in the state around innovation, I do want to mention that we also have direct funding. So we have a program called CoVest that will bring funding that matches alongside when you do an angel or an investor round. This is really our earliest stage funding. It's unlike traditional bank loans. There's no personal guarantees. It has a long horizon that you don't repay the loan for 7 years. It's a convertible note, so we do have the right to convert the debt to equity when we see that there's significant upside in the business. We just approved Mocafy, many of you may know, up in Newark, who is part of Newark Venture Partners. So the company just has to have a proof of concept, has to have some matching funds, and then the EDA goes alongside as an investment partner into the company. Next slide, please. And coming very soon, as you can see in the banner here, is a program we're really excited about. So when we talk to entrepreneurs, many of them say, you know, they want some hands-on training, they want introductions to customers, they want to understand their sales funnel, and one of the best ways to do that is to go through an accelerator. We're fortunate enough in New Jersey to have a top-notch accelerator in Newark Venture Partners. We also know that unfortunately folks sometimes leave the state to go to accelerators that are focused on a specific domain. So we know there's ed tech accelerators, there's fintech accelerators, and we want our entrepreneurs to get educated by best in class, but then we want them to come back into the state. And so this program that we're going to be launching a little bit later this summer is focused on working with accelerators and entrepreneurs. And the EDA is going to partner with accelerators, approve them, make sure that they are providing the level of support that we would hope to the entrepreneurs. And then once the entrepreneurs graduate from those approved accelerators, we will match the capital that comes from those accelerators. It'll be in the form of a convertible note. We'll go up to $250,000. Again, similar to that CoVest financing structure I just mentioned. And we'll also provide free rent for you to locate in one of our 21 Ignite sites that I mentioned. So again, we're thinking strategically about how do we get a diverse innovation economy in the state, how do we help folks find the resources that they need in the state, and how do we help them find the partners in the state. And hopefully you're seeing that thematic approach in all of these programs that I'm running through very quickly for you all. Next slide. And then again, for a little bit later stage companies, we have matching loans that will actually go all the way up to $1 million. So these are companies that have at least $1 million in revenue. They have venture capital money, and they're able to provide debt service in a 5-year period. And you saw me talk about we want, ability to help you start, grow, and continue that path. And so this is for our little bit later stage companies in the entrepreneurial space. Next slide, please. And then I think this is one of my last slides here. You heard me mention Newark Venture Partners. You're going to hear from Joanne Lynn here. The EDA has a relationship with a number of venture funds. We put money in as a limited partner into those funds with a requirement that they invest in New Jersey companies. And as Tim mentioned, we right now have a request for information out to create some kind of new capital structure specifically focused on Black and Latinx entrepreneurs in the state of New Jersey. So we're continually looking to supplement and build out our fund-to-fund strategy to make sure that there is always capital in the marketplace. So today, our active funds that are investing are Edison Partners out of Princeton, Newark Venture Partners. We're in the midst of closing another round or round of funding with Accelerate Venture Partners. And New Spring Capital is our healthcare investor. We want to make sure that there is capital to help you scale your business as you go along. Next slide, please. Great. And here's a little bit on our team as well. So I am all talked out now.